Assalamualaikum, Assalamualaikum viewers. In this consecutive episode of my live session, the person who is going to add with me, she is Saida Ahmed, a citizen of Pakistan, but right now she is living in UK. Within few minutes, she will remain connected with me, and this session is sponsored by Institution of Peace. I am waiting for Sayada Ahmad. Hopefully, she will get the connectivity till she is joining here. I am just having the drag into the cup of hot water for my throat as usual. So Sayada is still trying to get the connection. After tagging him, I am communicating with her. Sorry, after tagging her, I am communicating with her via messenger as she can get the connection sooner as possible. And she is contributing for skill resolution globally, nationally, and internationally. And she will discuss how to improve the potentiality in a global platform. Welcome, Jackson Dubka. Nice to see you in my session here, but still I'm waiting for yes. Uh, yes, Syed Ahmed, you are here. Madam Syed Ahmed, you have a in your right side there is a request option. In your right side there is a request option. Please put your finger over there. In your right side there is a request option. Please put your finger over there so I can bring you before my camera. Saida madam, yes, I get your request. You have a green. Please put your finger over there to get the connectivity. Madam, you have a green colored exit option. Please put your finger over there. Yes, ultimately we get connected. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you doing?
Yes, alhamdulillah, fine. Are you listening me okay?
Yes, I'm comfortable, thank you.
Okay. So, madam, maximum viewers are from subcontinent, from India, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, and Saudi Arabia and Bhutan as well. Jackson Dubka from Bhutan, he is also contributing for global connectivity. So, it will be better if you introduce yourself first before my viewers. Who are you and where are you from? Please introduce yourself elaborately.
Okay, so I'm Saida Ahmed. I was born in Pakistan, but actually I've lived in the UK all my life, which is a long life, alhamdulillah. The work I've been doing has been looking at designing solutions for people so they can have jobs and be happy. And if you look, many people are going through the education system, but actually the education system isn't serving them. They are currently doing degrees, they're doing diplomas, qualifications, but they still can't get jobs. And that's because the education system is a traditional model that was designed hundreds of years ago, and the world has changed considerably, as has industry and the needs of employers. They no longer are looking for the same things, but we're giving people the same education that people were receiving hundreds of years ago. So our programs, what I do is I look at where the failure of education systems are, labor market programs, social development programs, and design holistic solutions, full pathways to get success in careers or enterprise. I'm a former director for the University of Leeds. I'm an advisor to the president in Puntland, Somalia. I'm involved in a number of high impact initiatives globally. And for me, giving people real opportunities for real success is very important, and skills is a vital part of that.
Okay. So, madam, you are designing, implement economic and social development, and right now you are contributing for the improvement of Somalia, a country of African continent. Am I right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Actually, I got invited by the ministers in Somalia and in the state of Puntland specifically to help them redesign their education, their health, as well as to give advice on environment and commerce. So I've been working with their ministers, and when I spoke at the International Investment Forum, they were really impressed with my ideas because I believe in holistic development, and I believe that actually the way we've been doing things is actually making it harder for graduates, for people who are looking for work, because we're teaching people bad skills and then we're penalizing them when they go for jobs, saying that they're not ready for the job market. Well, actually, if you teach someone A and B and then you expect them to come out with Z without giving them the right skills, then I think the education system's partly to blame. But from what actually happened in Somalia, I used the model that I developed for Somalia, and I put that on my social media. I've actually had interest from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from the Middle East, and also from India to help redesign and deliver programs that will make the skills for the local people and the young people much more relevant to being successful in the labor market.
Okay, so we know Somalia is the country of Somalia is right now is in a very miserable situation. Even some countries in African continent like Congo, Sierra Leone, they are also in a very miserable situation, and people are dying for the scarcity of food and water. Children are dying for starving. So, what is your
Yes.
point of view? How can, including education, how can it be possible to improve the entire situation there in African continent?
Okay, so I think first of all, one of the things that shocked me when I went to Somalia was that I went there with, actually, I went there originally and everybody scared the life out of me. They said, Saida, you're going to Somalia, you're going to get killed, someone's going to kidnap you, someone's going to do this. There's all these problems. And I thought, if you can't help people in the best way you can, if you're not willing to put your if you're not willing to put your life at risk to help other people, everybody's going to try to take the easy way out in life, and that's not the way change happens and help happens. So actually, in Somalia, one of the things that's happened with the civil war is some parts of it are stable now, but their whole infrastructure is flattened. That means that you need to bring experts from all over the world, and you have to have the leadership and the willingness from local people to try out things and to be radically different and innovative to find solutions. Countries like Somalia and the state of Puntland or Somaliland, for example, are very rich in resources. They have livestock, they have very able people. It's about having an infrastructure that joins all of that together and gives people success. If you look at the subcontinent, if you look at India, if you look at Bangladesh and Pakistan, similarly, naturally, they have so much going for them. The people are very intelligent, but what they're being failed by is the bureaucracy, the systems, and outdated policies and procedures, which instead of enabling people, act as barriers to their success. So, in some ways, going to a place like Puntland and Somalia, they've got the willingness and the openness to remove red tape and bureaucracy. They remove it in a way to make things happen where some of the developed countries are probably not as open to those types of things. So I think we could see very, if all goes well and the type of projects that we're bringing to the table for Somalia, affordable housing, healthcare reform, educational reform, you could be seeing some very, very big changes occurring in a short space of time.
Okay, so we know naturally in the entire African continent, including Somalia, is abundant in
Yes.
diamonds, and because
Sorry,
of
say that
political,
again.
the entire African continent, including Somalia, this is abundance in diamond. They have natural resource, and
Yes.
this is, but because of political turmoil, civil war breakout. Even the politicians are forcing the young children and women to fight for war. they forcefully train them and distribute weapon to the children and girls. So ultimately the situation is totally unexpected and too miserable. Out of this discussion, what type of adjective I have to describe, what type of adjective I need to criticize about that politicians who are just still adamant to fulfill their lascivious interest. So madam, my question is, as you are contributing for skill resolution, can it be possible to resolve this situation? Can it be possible to improve the entire situation there by improving the potentiality of the inhabitants of African continent, including Somalia?
It's definitely possible, but what we have to do is we have to take that savior mentality out of our head and not become like imperialistic powers that go there thinking that the local people don't know what they're on about or they don't know what they need. We have to go from a position of humbleness and respect, first of all. Secondly, I think that there's a considerable amount of aid money and charity money going to NGOs in Somalia and Africa. This is not reaching the people, this is not reaching the women, the youth. It's being imposed on them what will work rather than what will actually work. So you can't have policy and funding going to a country based on stereotypes and perceived need. It has to be based on actual need. And actual need can only happen when you engage with the local people, you work with them, and you help design solutions that are both ambitious but also has clear plans on how logistically they will be implemented. Unfortunately, you cannot have individuals who are against making profit and see profit as a bad place, which some of the NGOs do see, and some of the individuals working or volunteering for NGOs. You can't have organizations like that delivering, say, enterprise training. They may be good for empowerment work or specific, they may be a part of the jigsaw, but they're not the whole jigsaw. We need to have everybody together to find common solutions together.
Okay. So one question want to ask you that you were in Somalia to participate a conference. So do you not scared about your safety there? We know the foreigners also kidnapped and they are abducted and forcefully tortured to join in militancy. So were you not scared about your safety there?
Of course, I was scared. Everybody's scared at some point because, but one of the things that one of my colleagues said to me, she runs a women's traveling network. She said, "Say don't worry." She said it'll all be fine. She said I've got one of the best hostage negotiators in the world. So do you know what, that last closing line, it just made, I mean, it made me laugh, but at the same time, of course, there's a danger element attached. And just bringing it back, I think one of the people are commenting that actually the the diamond situation is much more complex. It's not about local people, it's about vested interests, multinational interests, and people who can see natural resources and they want to make sure that those resources go to them. So it's not necessarily that the problems occur from within a country. There's also geopolitical um, um, contexts and situations which different parts of Africa are facing already. What we have to do is to realize that this is never going to be a black and white answer. There's going to be so many aspects to these countries, to these situations, and so forth. And we have to find solutions that are flexible and dynamic with time so that when a situation, when some of the contexts change, then what we have to do is the process must change for success. We can't think that we're going to have a typewriter for the next 200 years when typewriters lost their use a long time ago, apart from just being ornamental pieces. And I think that's the problem, because we've got people who are stuck in the typewriter era who think that that's all Africa as a continent deserves, so that's what Asia deserves, when actually people are far more intelligent and sophisticated and able to find solutions if they're given voices and the authority to make choices which are relevant to them.
Uh, Many intellectual from subcontinent, you are
Yeah.
from subcontinent but living in UK, but maximum intellectual from subcontinent, they have a prediction according to their knowledge that diamond is the most precious asset not for Africa, for the entire world. And some conspirator from Europe, they want to encroach the asset of Africa. They want to encroach the diamond of Africa unlawfully. That's why they create, there is an invincible hand behind the turmoil in Africa, and they forcefully approach the dwellers of Africa into civil war. Do you agree with their concept, or do you think there will be another reason? There can be another reason.
First of all, I think simplistic solutions are never the scenario. The most valuable commodity at this moment in time is humans and the ability to think creatively. This brain, people have the ability to solve the world's problems. People have the ability to find solutions. People are the most valuable thing. And actually, if you push people down, that's what we're doing, is we're taking something that is so valuable, i.e. people, brains, their abilities, and we're subjugating it to nothingness. So actually, those that are educated and those that have got control of resources are telling large groups of people who are just as intelligent, but their circumstances are not the same, that actually they're not the same. And I think that what we have to do is we have to find a way to create opportunities, to build the skills, to enrich and to enable people so that they can actually be creative, to use their knowledge, actually to use their knowledge for the betterment of not just society but the environment and as a whole.
And our army, Bangladesh army is still contributing for the sake of the humanity, and they are contributing to save the civilians, to keep the women and children apart, aside from the war. Probably you observe the contribution of Bangladesh army there.
Yeah. Sorry, say that again. I didn't
probably
hear that.
Okay, probably you observe the contribution of Bangladesh army there. They are contributing to keep the children and women and the entire civilian aside from the horrific situation of war.
Yeah.
Okay, so madam, let's keep our conversation aside from Africa. And since the beginning you are telling that you are a Pakistani, but since your childhood you were living in Europe. What is the reason behind that? For study purpose you moved there, or your parents moved there and you just get born and staying there since your childhood?
So my parents moved to the UK when I was 8 months old. And I didn't actually have much of a say at 8 months old. So I've stayed in the UK all my life since then. So I've been educated here.
Okay, please carry on.
Yep. So I did my first degree and I did my second degree. I've been involved in various enterprises, strategic roles. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of years that I can actually bore you to death with.
Okay, so madam, as you told that your parents moved there and you were only 8 months old, so did your parents move into UK before 1947 or after 1947? I mean after the independence of Pakistan.
Sorry, my phone keeps ringing.
Okay, sorry, I'm repeating my question. Did your parent move into UK after the independence of Pakistan or before the independence of Pakistan in 1947?
Oh, it was after the independence of Pakistan.
Okay. A massive numbers of dwellers of subcontinent, they are approaching to UK and the other countries of Europe like Sweden, France, German. We, the inhabitants of subcontinent, we have the prediction that life in Europe, including UK, something like that, living in paradise. So you were the dweller there, you taste the environment there. Please explain us, is our prediction is right or it is just a fictitious myth that life in UK something like that, living in paradise?
Well, I don't know about paradise because I think your weather's far better than ours is. But actually, I think every country has got its strong points and it's got its areas that you could improve on. I think that the life in the UK and in Europe is much more structured, and everything in terms of the systems and the public facilities, they've been developed over longer period of time. They've got centuries of development. When you look at Pakistan, you look at Bangladesh, you look at India, they've had they've had the Raj over them, then they've had the independence and so forth. That has take that in itself has stopped the local people having the same starting point as somebody who's had almost their countries have been free from civil war for hundreds of years. Now, I think that obviously in Europe they had the First World War, they've had the Second World War, and so forth. But I think being under the Raj or under an imperialistic rule, you don't have the same power and the freedom to exercise your ambition in the same way. Um, the UK is a wonderful place to live, but so is Pakistan, so is Bangladesh. It depends on what you're looking at in life in order to see the best things. You know, this living in the UK has its own stresses, it's got its own pressures that sometimes when people are looking at it from outside, they don't see that side. You know, there's a lot of older people who are very lonely. There's things like homelessness, the poverty, which I would call it's not direct poverty, it may be a different type of poverty. So people from other countries, developing countries, will be like, oh, why are they not taking advantage of this? Or how can they be so disrespectful of that? Because they see the world in a different way to people who've grown up in the West. But definitely for someone like me, I've lived in England all my life. It's my home. I've been happy with it. But at the same time, when I meet people who have Asian background or Arab background, etc., I have a warmth and a love for them. When I meet people from Africa, I have an empathy and a love for them. So really, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, there's always something beautiful in every place that you go to, and every place has something to offer. But in the same way, your home is always your home. And when people come from Bangladesh, they come from Pakistan to the UK, they come from India, there's a part of them that longs that home, that place where they grew up in their childhood, even if they went through hardship, whatever. There's a part of you that will long for the place that you grew up in.
Okay, but you know the job market is too much competitive in subcontinent, in including, I mean, subcontinent means India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and we have a prediction that if we move into UK, the currency status is more better than us. So if we move into UK, probably we will get job easily and we can lead a life like in paradise. So right now, we know that life is dynamic in UK there. So if any inhabitant of subcontinent, I mean, if any dweller of Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh will move into UK in search of profession, what will be your suggestion? Will
If they're
be
wanting to move,
wise will be the wise decision to move into UK in search of profession there?
I mean, I think first of all, now because of the global, um, because the world is a global village, you could be doing work for a British company being based in Bangladesh or in Dubai or New Zealand, etc. I think first of all you have to look at what it is you want in your life, and see whether the countries that you're going to is actually giving you that. Don't look at the tourist pictures and the beautiful, you know, PR exercises that some countries are doing. Go on forums, find out what it's really like. Secondly, I think that there's a lot of people who are doing dead-end courses and degrees that will not get them a job in their native country nor internationally. And I think that if we have frank conversations, there's a lot of people who have got degrees, they've got masters, they've got PhDs, and they're flipping burgers in somewhere because they didn't choose the right degree and they didn't choose the right path that would give them success on that degree. So what we need to do, is we need to be honest and we have to find solutions for people in terms of what they're wanting to achieve. But the solutions have to be flexible. They can't be based on thinking, oh, well, my friend said England's like paradise, so I'm going to go to England too. And then they turn up and it's horrible. You know, they choose a city where it's grey, it's raining all the time, there's nobody there that's nice to them, and then thinking, why are we here for? But that
Okay.
question should be happening before they even consider moving to a country. They need to think, why do I really want to go to England? Can I actually make more money in Bangladesh and be around people I know and love? Maybe I just want to go and visit England rather than go and move everything and live there. So there's lots of questions. Like for me, now my situation is that I've lived in the UK all my life. So if I go to another country, I will go to another country and consider being there for a while. But I know that I consider and then I look and say, can I actually live there long term? And the answer for me is always no. I miss the rain, I miss the cold weather, I miss complaining about this or that. But actually, it's my childhood and it's my home. That's why I have that
You are
option.
habituated with the situation there. You are habituated
Absolutely,
with the environment there.
absolutely, absolutely.
The way you explained about the expense of UK there, so the prediction is almost transparent before us that life in UK is something like that living in paradise, but the dwellers of UK have to pay for the paradise.
No, do you know
Am I
something? It's
right?
not paradise. It's not paradise. You know, life everywhere is hard work. You know, as a human being, you go through days where, you know what, you're really excited. There's days where things don't go according to plan. There's days you meet amazing people. There's days that people are horrible to you. This is the story all over the world. This is not unique to England. It's not unique to the US. It's not unique to the Middle East or Bangladesh or Pakistan or India, anywhere in the world. Everywhere you go, the difference is the infrastructure of that country, whether it meets what you're looking for in your life or it doesn't. The thing is that now we're not even obliged to be working. We could be having our own businesses and enterprise, you know, and I think that this is the other area that the big opportunities for people of Asian background or African background is that because of technology, the world has become smaller and doing international business has become much easier. And as a result of that, you have options of traveling to more than one country. And the one that everybody thinks of, England, or they think of the US, may not be as great as some of the other countries that you could have bigger opportunities in and you could actually have paradise in. I absolutely fell in love with Turkey. I've fallen in love with Malaysia. They're amazing countries. But you know, people don't automatically think of them.
Okay.
But you see,
So
for
there is a
me,
there
there
is a
has to be
multinational
opportunity.
environment. So there is a multinational environment is massively visible, commonly visible in the entire UK.
Sorry, say that again.
There is a multinational environment is commonly visible in the entire UK.
Yes, that's correct. It's one of the
Okay.
best things about the UK. That's very multicultural. There's so many different people all over the world who make the UK their home. But it's not the best place in the world. No place is the best place in the world. Every place has got beautiful parts and they've got not so beautiful parts. And you know, if you go to the best city, you know, if you go to the best parts of Bangladesh, people will say, oh my gosh, Bangladesh is amazing. Why are you going to one of the poorest parts of England? If you go to the best parts of Turkey, or if you go to the best parts of Malaysia, people will think, why are they moving to another place which is poorer? So there's good parts and bad parts. There's good people and bad people. And in every country, you will find paradise. You just have to have an open heart and mind to look for it. And you have to basically learn to respect what you have. Because I think everybody has something beautiful about them. Every place has something beautiful about them. You just have to have an open mind and heart to accept that. And what looks more beautiful on the other side may have different types of problems.
Okay. And that sounds great that although you were scared about your self-protection, but you moved to Somalia for the skill resolution there, and you're contributing there to improve the potentiality. So do you have any plan to move into Bangladesh to share your thoughts and significant ideas how to improve our potentiality in subcontinent, including our country? Do you have any plan to move into Bangladesh in less distant future?
Well, actually, I've just been having meetings over the last few days for Pakistan, for Bangladesh, for Turkey. So what happened with Somalia is that, it actually surprised me because when I went there and I spoke at various events and meetings, I actually got an invitation from the president of Puntland to be his specialist advisor to his office. When I came back to the UK and put this on my social media, I actually got a request from Bangladesh, for Pakistan. I got a request for Turkey, for Malaysia, for other countries to help advise them on skills, to advise them on holistic solutions to give people jobs. So you may see me in Bangladesh over the next few months, inshallah.
And you are most welcome in my home. When you are in
Thank you.
Bangladesh, definitely you please message me. I will definitely welcome you warmly in my home. Okay,
Thank
and
you. Jazakallah khair.
there is a most significant program in Pakistan, which is Least Pakistan is approaching, just one day left. So will you
Yes, that's right.
participate in the Live? Will you
Yes, I will be.
participate in Live Pakistan program? Will you participate
Yes, I
there?
will be doing. Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. And Pakistani will definitely, that will be a matter of great fortune for the Pakistanis if you share your significant ideas and experience, and they will definitely utilize your each significant suggestion and advices. So, what is your point of view about Rehan Allahwala? He is contributing for global connectivity, something like that. Me
Yes.
from Bangladesh, you from UK, but the massive distance is not visible between us.
Yes. Yes, of course.
So, what is your point of view about Rehan Allahwala? What is your point of view about him?
Well, I think he's a fantastic networker and a collaborator and somebody who's very open about his connections and helping people to come together to do common good. And I think that's what we need more of in this world. We need people who are willing to share their knowledge, their experience, and to help someone along. Because, my strength could be your weakness area, your strength could be somebody else's weakness area. And if humanity joins together, we can actually make this world a place which is much more beautiful and peaceful for us as well as for others.
Okay, thanks a lot to give your precious time. Also, you were in journey after move into home. You were too much tired, but you come before my camera and share your most significant thoughts and ideas. And some people, Bilal Shah also demonstrates his idea with you. He share his thoughts. Probably you just read his comment, and if you have any commitment about his reply, please reply him through comment box. And again, thank you very much to participate in my live session. Give me the
Thank
most
you.
precious opportunity to interview
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you
Khudafiz.
so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Take care. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay.